Cohen is back on the stand in former President Trump's New York criminal trial.
And the former president's attorneys could get the chance to cross-examine Cohen today. Brooke Singman here with all the details. Hey, Brooke.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, Michael Cohen will testify again for the prosecution when court resumes this morning, and former President Trump's defense team could begin their highly anticipated cross-examination to push back on that testimony. Now, in his first day on the stand, Cohen testified to personally paying $130,000 to Stormy Daniels by using a home equity line of credit to hide it from his own wife. Cohen said he did that because Trump wanted the story taken care of and buried until after the 2016 election. Cohen says former Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg facilitated his reimbursement plan and that Trump himself knew the details of it. Cohen telling the court, quote, "Everything required Mr. Trump's sign off. On top of that, I wanted the money back." Here's Eric Trump responding to that claim. Listen.
First of all, it's not true. My father was campaigning for 2 years at that point. And at the point that the payment was actually made, he was sitting in Washington, D.C. This guy's a convicted felon. He lost his law license. He went down the tubes because he was defrauding apparently financial institutions based on taxi cab medallions in his own personal life.
Former President Trump himself can't publicly address Cohen because of that court's gag order, but he did address the media before his attorneys had their chance to question Cohen on the stand.
Look, they're doing great. You know what? They're doing great. They've kept me here for 3.5, 4 weeks instead of campaigning, and yet we still have the best poll numbers. Just came out in the New York Times, as we discussed before. But everybody's saying there's no crime. Every single legal analyst, even CNN, even MSDNC, they're saying there's no case here.
Court resumes this morning at 9:30 Eastern, and today Trump will also be joined at the courthouse by Vivek Ramaswamy. Carly?
I love this power move to bring in these surrogates, Brooke, because Judge Merchan cannot issue a gag order against J.D. Vance, resident of Ohio, Vivek Ramaswamy, resident of Ohio, so they can say whatever they want.
Yes, they can.
Can I get a full-length feature on that? Can I get a pay-per-view? Can I get like the full match, Jerry? I want the full. Was that The Rock? Vivek is The Rock. Yes, that's pretty good. Oh man. Okay, that very nice. Let's make that an entire extended universe that we build with WWE and UFC, Donald Trump and Vivek. And this is the energy we are bringing today. It's Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. Vivek Ramaswamy attends court with Trump as Michael Cohen faces savage beatdown in cross-examination. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do some cross-examination on our own program today. Joe Biden says he works for Kamala Harris in awkward opening remarks as Kamala Harris drops F-bomb. We will break down today exactly how the external stresses of the collapsing regime is starting to break them. Kamala Harris is like just spitting F-bombs and cackling like a crazy person. Brain just gone. Joe Biden's brain gone. Like these people, they can't handle the pressure. They can't handle the stress. They are being crushed by all of it. And they know what happens next, baby. We win. John McEntee joins the show. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. I hope you're watching this on a Patriot Mobile device. Ladies and gentlemen, Patriot Mobile is the cell phone company that we trust to stay connected. Today is a bit of a milestone day for us. We believe, based on our data and scientific projections, that we will cross the 2 million mark on YouTube platform today. And Patriot Mobile was there to help us do that, ladies and gentlemen. Patriot Mobile has been connecting us in the field and connecting us to you so that we can go live, so we can rip roar from outside of the studio, inside of the studio, and bring you the news every single second of the day, every single hour of the day. ALX tabulated, there was 1 week in February where we were live for like 73 hours in the week. We were live on the platform more than we were more the time than we had at home or asleep. It's like in bed. So we are here. We are muscling through, ladies and gentlemen, breaking the algorithms, breaking the shadow bans, and we are breaking news for you. Please make sure that you hop onto the Patriot Mobile platform to get that news without funding the left. PatriotMobile.com/Benny, PatriotMobile.com/Benny, or 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation today with the offer code Benny. Make the switch today, PatriotMobile.com/Benny. Okay, so the backlash is officially here. We covered yesterday how the polls are now totally collapsing, how there's like a complete and total collapse for Biden. The collapse is officially here. Expect them to probably swap Biden out at the DNC convention. Maybe they won't, but that's what we expect. The DNC convention is going to be absolute insanity, by the way, in Chicago. We've already booked our rooms for a front row seat at the Trump Hotel in downtown Chicago. So pray for us. But we're going to bring you a front row seat to that absolute tire fire. But ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to another dangerous, scary, thoroughly destroyed, iconic American city, New York. So what you are seeing in New York is now finally the official backfire. The force that showed up today for President Trump in court is unanimous. You have behind Donald Trump, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Now, I know there's a lot of people who don't like Mike Johnson. I don't like Mike Johnson. However, uniting all of the wings of the party, and we all thought Mike Johnson would be like Freedom Caucus kind of guy, you know, Conservative Study Committee kind of guy. I think that Mike Johnson has had a, let's just say, a deeply disreputable term as Speaker of the House, but this is not what this show is about. All right, we can do other shows, sort of slicing and dicing that and talking about the insane dynamics of the Republicans in the House. That's not what this show is about. This show is about Republican unity into the election and winning. We say this on the program all the time. We don't want to lose as America first. We want to win as America first. This is about winning. This is about creating a populist movement, the same movements that has brought us victories in all across Europe, victories all across South America, and now it's our time, okay? And what do I mean by that? There have been like a massive slew of populist leaders winning victories in Asia, in Europe, in South America, people that put their country first. And we can defeat the globalist moment. We can defeat these people by uniting. If you unite under America First banner, then, ladies and gentlemen, we can begin to fix this place. If we lose, then we continue on our path to the abyss. A good example of this is Argentina, who elected a libertarian, anarcho-capitalist populist, a man who loves his country very, very much. And that country has done a massive reversal in its economics, in its optimism towards the future, and its inflow from the markets, in what the future of the nation is, just because they elect somebody who cares about their nation more than they care about the bloated, obese government bureaucracies that strangle and starve a nation to death, which is what's happening here in this country. And to get that, we must elect Donald Trump. We must win. We must defeat this Marxist-Stalinist moment in our nation, and I believe that that will set a course for a new American millennia. Now, to do that, again, you must have the unified base of the Republican Party. Now, you're going to laugh at me, but Mitch McConnell has endorsed Donald Trump. Now Mike Johnson standing behind Donald Trump, and also somebody who has long been floated as a potential vice president for Donald Trump, somebody who we are very, very excited to call a friend on the show, Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, you saw yesterday that Tim Scott and Tommy Tuberville, both senators, forgive me, Tim Scott, J.D. Vance, Tim Scott is going to be with Donald Trump, behind Donald Trump later in the week. But you're seeing senators, you're seeing vice presidential contenders and finalists appearing behind Donald Trump. There were a couple members of Congress there yesterday. And now the Speaker of the House standing behind Donald Trump. Whatever you think of him, it's a powerful look. It's a position of power. It's exposing that this is a government plot to get Trump. And, ladies and gentlemen, it is bringing a great new number of eyeballs to this trial. And as this trial is prolonged and goes on, the polling just in from a number of different pollsters are showing that the American public are beginning to deeply sour on this. The American public wants Donald Trump out of the campaign trail. Democrats should want Donald Trump out on the campaign trail. putting him inside, holding him inside of a prison, effectively, inside of a cage at a courthouse in Manhattan, is something that actually is now backfiring horrendously. And so we look now to the courthouse and we look to the unified Republican Party as they flank Donald Trump as he walks into court this morning and gives his Trump statements before the court. Now, we will warn you, this was live just a few minutes ago, that this is Donald Trump. Donald Trump takes this one for a ride, okay? This one, Donald Trump, is ready to go. Trump is feeling the energy this morning. He gave a campaign speech, actually, at the court with, again, Vivek Ramaswamy, a number of members of Congress, and the Speaker of the House behind him, showing absolute and totally unified support of the Republican Party behind Donald Trump. That is the look moving forward, ladies and gentlemen. So here we are with Donald Trump in court this AM, Michael Cohen ready to be cross-examined by Donald Trump's team this morning. And it sounds like Trump is a caged lion, ready to break that cage. Here we go.
Surrogates, and they are speaking very beautifully, and they come all from all over Washington, and they're highly respected, and they think this is the greatest scam they've ever seen. And some are Democrats. They're very embarrassed by what's going on. I just want to start by saying that on the electric vehicles that Biden is pushing down everybody's throat, even though people don't want them, he wants to put a big tariff on China, which is a suggestion that I said, where have you been for 3.5 years? They should have done it a long time ago. But they've also got to do it on other vehicles, and they have to do it on a lot of other products, because China's eating our lunch right now. And they went away from what I was doing. They're eating our lunch, so they have to do it on much more than electric vehicles, and they have to get going fast, but it should have been done 3.5 years ago. I did it, I started. And then they started playing games, and it was very bad for the auto industry. In Michigan, the auto industry is doing very poorly because jobs are starting to leave. We're losing. With the electric vehicle mandate, they're going to be made in China. They're all going to be made in China and also in Mexico, owned by China. Poll just came out, the very respected Redfield Wilton, and it has us up 6 in Michigan, 7 in North Carolina, Pennsylvania +2, Georgia +5, Florida +9, Arizona +2, and up in every other place 2. So that just came out. That's on top of yesterday's New York Times poll. I think today I might just quote somebody that frankly has been extremely respectful to me over the last period of a few months. He's watching this scam taking place, Michael Avenatti. Have you heard the name? He said, the next time you're accused of something by someone, a co-worker, neighbor, friend, significant other, stranger, ask yourself if it would be okay if only they were allowed to speak, accuse, antagonize, while you were not allowed to respond. He's talking about the gag order, or defend yourself in any way. If your answer is no, then you too should be angered by Trump not being allowed to respond to the various people that are making comments. Now think of it. You ask me questions, I'm not allowed to respond. They're the easiest questions I could possibly be asked. Only a guy like Biden couldn't answer those questions, because he's not there. You ready? So here's a couple of quotes. Mark Levin, great man, great legal talent. This is not a trial of Donald Trump. It's a case of the Democrat Party versus America. It also represents the greatest effort to interfere with and steal a federal election in American political history. Biden is seeking to clear the field. He wants to clear the field because he can't do it himself. So he's weaponized the Department of Justice. And as you know, they have their people in that room. The DOJ is in that room, because they want to try and hurt me. Now, the good news is my poll numbers have gone up significantly. This is not what they had in mind. Newt Gingrich, this is without precedent in American history. It has never occurred to President John Adams or anybody else that you could jail your primary competitor, your primary opponent. In his case, Vice President Thomas Jefferson. This goes back a long way. This has never happened in our country before. There's never been anything like this. Andy McCarthy just came out. New Yorkers should be outraged at the mockery Bragg is making of the state's legal system as the entire country looks on. The entire world is looking on. There's a very bad thing that's happening in New York. Businesses are leaving New York because of what happened here and what happened with another crooked judge, Engoron. Totally crooked. And he's under investigation right now, as he should be. He's under a big investigation, I hear, right now. Jonathan Turley, experts are shrugging, not sure what the crime is being alleged. Prosecutors have not explained why denoting this as a legal expense was wrong. So they say that the bookkeeping error, I paid a lawyer a certain amount of money. We marked it down as legal expense. So I had a legal expense, and I marked it down as a legal expense. I didn't mark it down as construction of a wall, construction of a building. I didn't mark it down as electricity costs. I took a legal expense, and they called it, I didn't do it, a bookkeeper did it. You did it exactly right. Took a legal expense and called it a legal expense. This is their whole case. Are you allowed to call a legal expense a legal expense? I don't know what else you'd call it, actually. But he brings it up here, the legal expense. It was, what's the problem? I never thought that as an attorney I could see a system like New York's, one of the most sophisticated legal bars in the world, really debase itself so badly. This judge should not be allowed on the case, and he should not allow this case to go forward. Mershon should rule in favor of a directed verdict immediately. There is an insufficient amount of evidence. No crime has been shown. No crime's been committed. There's been no crime. Judge Janine Pirro, she talks here. She's very excited here. He's a fool. He's not an experienced judge. So I'll make that one a little short. I don't want to insult anybody. Greg Jarrett, brilliant guy. Bragg's argument is legally flawed. The Federal Election Commission, FEC, determined there was no campaign finance violation. The Department of Justice agreed. No civil fine was levied or criminal charge rendered. Those two entities have exclusive authority over federal elections. The state has absolutely no authority, and the city, Bragg, has no authority. And Bragg never wanted to bring this case, in all fairness to him. He never wanted to bring this case. Not a local prosecutor such as Alvin Bragg should be involved in this case. And by the way, the judge, as you know, is totally conflicted, and everybody's talking about it. It's an embarrassment to New York. Legal analyst Michael Moore of CNN doesn't think the prosecution has proven its case. Senator John Kennedy, respected gentleman, I will tell you that trial says more about politics than it does about an alleged crime. If you want to hide something from Bragg, you put it in the law book. Bringing in a fellow criminal trial, it hasn't proved to be a felony. There was no crime. Everybody's saying there's no crime. There is absolutely. But I've been here for almost 4 weeks in an icebox. I call it the icebox, listening to a judge who's totally corrupt and conflicted. Will Scharf, highly respected lawyer. Hush money, it's not a crime. Signing an NDA is not a crime. By the way, Congress, everybody in Congress have NDAs. NDAs are very common. Non-disclosure agreements. They're not a crime. Claimant, CBS Morning News, there's no evidence that this case is about campaign election violations. There's no evidence. But again, we go back to the federal law. The FEC, Federal Election Commission, said there's not a problem. There's no case. And Vivek, who's here right now, so he can speak for himself, he said this is a sham trial. It's politically motivated. It's an assault on the leading candidate for U.S. president. I would expect he would say something good, actually, so I won't go through the rest, but he's here. He's going to talk to you. The Speaker of the House is here. We have Byron Donalds. Corey is here. We have a lot of great people here to talk to you. And they won't let them speak here. I guess they want to make it difficult for them to speak. So for some reason, I can speak here, but I'm the only one that's allowed. The gag order has to come off. So when you ask me a question about the people that we're talking about, I'm not allowed to answer. There's never been anything like this in the history of our country. It's a scam. It's election interference at a level that's never taken place before. And now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go into the icebox and sit for a long time. Thank you very much.
It's like I can't take it. Okay. All right. Look at this goofy hair. Okay, so got 3 kids playing with my hair all morning. Okay, all right, that's fine. Hey, who cares? It's dad hair. So what do we got? We got an animal. He's an animal. He's an animal. How does he do it? He just goes up in like 10 straight minutes, just like a campaign speech. Goes over the polls, goes over the news. Is there like a could this be every morning? Maybe we should make this a show. I mean, geez. Listen, not like the president needs it, but you're welcome every single morning. You just come on the program. I'll just shut up, and Trump, you just do the news. Just bring the news, okay? You just read the news. I love these clips. I'm hopping in the comment section. I'm just watching the clip with you. Just hopping in the comment section. This guy's like, how did this? You know, I get in trouble saying this, and I hope you understand. I don't mean it as an insult. He's the same age as Biden. They're similar ages, right? I mean, they're within like 5 years of each other. Biden's 82, Trump's 77. So, I mean, Trump's aging in reverse. He's got that energy. He's got that, just like you could like a linebacker. Like he's just ready to put his shoulder into you. He's talking about Vivek in the background. Here's the actual image of what it looked like behind him. Some notable people in this image, not all. And some of these men may join the program, actually. You got Corey Mills, fantastic member of Congress from Florida. You have Byron Donalds, fantastic member of Congress from Florida. You know them both from the program if you regularly watch the show. You got Speaker of the House Mike Johnson there. Again, this is a tactic endorsement. Just it's good for him to be there. I don't like the way that Speaker Mike Johnson runs the House. I feel like he's betrayed us on almost everything. But we're gonna like just talk about strategy this morning. Okay, this is not what this show is about. We'll do another show on that later. You have Doug Burgum, governor of North Dakota. That's a VP candidate right there. You got Vivek Ramaswamy standing tall. You meet Vivek in real life, you're like, oh, I thought you'd be shorter. Vivek's a tall dude. But not as tall as Eric Trump and Laura Trump. You can see behind there. Eric Trump and Laura Trump flanking. On the right-hand side, Jason Miller straight down the center right there. And I guess Ted Cruz's miniature doppelganger stuntman in the corner. And then you have Boris Epstein all the way over to the left there. So that's who makes up this image, which is without question the actual whole Republican Party, okay? So let's just call it what it is. Like, you got the whole Republican Party. Liz Cheney's out attacking Mike Johnson this morning. Okay, if you get Liz Cheney to attack you, good on you. All right? Okay, that means you've done something right. This is a great look for Trump. You can see Trump up here in the foreground. This is a spectacular look for Donald Trump. Like the cameras of the world, the eyes of the world are now on this courthouse. The more you expose these people, the more they're like cockroaches. They're rats. They hate the light, the fluorescent light, the hot light. It sears them. It burns their skin. These people, demonic vampires. They don't want there to be any light exposed on what they're doing. So having the guy who's third in line for the presidency, Mike Johnson, there is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. Having Vivek Ramaswamy, there is a big deal. I think that ALX, it's time to put up another poll about the vice presidency. I'm seeing we read the comments during the show, and I'm looking at the comments right now, and I see a bunch of people saying they want Byron Donalds as vice president. You want Byron as vice president? I was kind of shocked to see the number of people saying they want. I'm looking at the comments right now. We're reading the comments right. Like, I'm looking at the number of people that say they want Tulsi. Very interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know we had such like a big Tulsi contingent in the audience. So we can put up 4. We can put up 4 names. Let's toss them up, okay? Let's toss up the 4 names. I'm seeing a bunch of Byron, Vivek, Tulsi, and then let's throw in JD Vance. Okay, so this will be our poll, and we post the poll on X. We know the Trump team follows. The Trump's team's blowing us up. So you wanted the Trump team to see this poll? Let's put it up. Those are the 4 people because they've been with Trump at the courthouse, and we're throwing Tulsi in there because we read the comment section. We read the comment section. There we go. Kash Patel for VP. I just saw that one. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Let us know. We'll post it up. And what happened the last time? The last time we posted about the VP, Donald Trump posted on Truth. So you want Donald Trump to see your vote? Let's do it. Let's do it right now. That's what this audience is about. The last time we posted about Donald Trump and his VP selection, Trump screenshotted our tweet and posted it up on Truth Social and said, is my VP in this photo? So, ladies and gentlemen, let's do that again with this poll. Now, Corey Mills just texted me. He's in that. Corey Mills just texted me and said he's happy to join the show. So, ALX, let's work on that. Corey Mills was standing behind Donald Trump. You can watch he's right there with the beard on. If you don't know him by look, he's been on the show. He's a friend of the show. And you see him there with the beard. He's a veteran. He's a war hero. You can't say that of many people. He's a literal special ops war hero, member of Congress here from Florida. And he says he wants to join the show. So ALX will be in touch, and he'll hop on, and he'll be able to tell us what went on. So there he is standing right there in the red tie, front row, and he'll be able to give you insight. You can see how the sausage is made here. He'll be able to give you insight as to what that was like. We've reached out to everybody else. Some people have other engagements and so on. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some good things. I see the poll up right now. Vivek, Byron Donalds, Tulsi Gabbard, JD Vance. Again, JD Vance was there yesterday. That's why JD's on there. I like JD. I had nothing against JD. I don't like JD. So let's have a look. What do you guys think? What do you think? Every person on this list has been on the show. And we have a big special to announce with Tulsi Gabbard in the future if you like Tulsi. We're very excited we're going to do a full hour with Tulsi Gabbard. So we're very excited about that. When Corey Mills, ALX, if Corey Mills can join the show, let's just roll with him, right? Like whenever the congressman can come on the show, I want to hear what this was like. Hot off of standing with Donald Trump in the courthouse. Let's go, baby. Okay, so you're not going to like this next clip. You're not going to like it. You don't like Mike Johnson. I know you don't like Mike Johnson. I don't like Mike Johnson. I'm telling you that if you do like Donald Trump, and I assume you do, or at least you're Trump light, there's a lot of independents. There's plenty of Democrats that watch the show. Trust me, we get written up by Media Matters, MSNBC every single day. Every single day. There was actually a really cool Washington Post article. Can we pull it up? Can we get that? Klein, ALX is going to have to send that to you. But there's a really cool Washington Post article talking about how Donald Trump is able to beat his gag order because of our show. It's so awesome. You want to know how powerful you are? It's incredible. We should have talked about this last week. You are this powerful. The Washington Post writes up that because of this program, Donald Trump's able to beat his gag order and able to reach an audience. How amazing is that, ladies and gentlemen? How special is that? So here we go. This is something you're not going to... It's a clip of Mike Johnson, all right? It's a clip of Mike Johnson, and here's the reason why I'm going to play it, is that obviously this is a good thing to have a unified front. He's probably not your flavor of Republican, if you know what I mean, right? He's probably not your flavor of Republican, and we're not going to be Mike Johnson simps, that's for sure. We're going to be realists here, though, and we want to win as an American first. We want to win as America first. We don't want to lose as America first. And you divide and conquer, and you lose if you're divided. So we need all Republicans to come together, right? Is this the article? So cool. Let's pop it up if we got it. Okay, how Trump allies amplify his Truth Social messages to the wider world. And you can scroll through here. There's a section of the article. I don't know exactly where it is. Yeah, there's Mike Davis. I don't know exactly where it is. Maybe we'll have to keyword search because I don't actually have it in front of me. But there's a section of the article that says the way that he's able to do this is through the programs, through our program, along with our friends Charlie Kirk, Steve Bannon, Jack Posobiec. Here we go. Davis, who founded the Article 3 Project, judicial advocacy organization, frequent guests on the host of influencers such as Charlie Kirk, Benny Johnson, Jack Posobiec, and Bannon. He's done over 3,000 media appearances, and that's in addition, so on and so forth. And you saw Mike Davis yesterday for like 30 minutes. Anyway, we're just here to, this is not about us. We're here to brag on you. This is about our movement together. We are the salty army. Okay? The salt will flow. Salt must flow. Salt must flow. Okay? It's a sodium deficiency everywhere. So salt must flow. You are a member of the salty army. Together, we will allow the salt to flow. We will enforce. We will, in fact, the salt must flow. You don't understand. You don't have a choice in this. Okay? It will be salty, especially come November. And you are members of the salty army with us. And we're winning. And it's so awesome. And it's so optimistic. It gives you energy to keep going. And the way we win is uniting. And so here is Mike Johnson in front of the court from today. Mike Johnson saying there is no crime. They are doing this because this man's last name is Donald Trump. Here we go.
And I think everybody in the country can see that for what it is. I'm an attorney. I'm a former litigator myself. I am disgusted by what is happening here. What is being done here to our entire system of justice overall. The people are losing faith right now in this country, in our institutions. They're losing faith in our system of justice. And the reason for that is because they see it being abused as it is being done here in New York. The facts here are very important. Facts are always important in a trial, or at least they're supposed to be. The president's actions in this matter were previously reviewed and no charges were filed. Why is that? Because there's no crime here. Now, 8 years later, suddenly they've resurrected this thing. They brought it back. And why is that? Well, just apply common sense. Everyone can see. It's painfully obvious that we're now 6 months out from an election day. And that's the reason.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Johnson has spoken. I'm working with our producers. Vivek has not yet spoken outside of the courthouse. So what happens is these guys leave the courthouse and then they go up to a little dais that's outside the court and then they talk live. So we're going to take you, when Vivek is live, we'll go to Vivek if we can. All right? We don't know when Vivek will step up to the microphone or if he's allowed. Some of this stuff is, obviously choreographed, okay? It's not a free-for-all. So if Vivek goes live, if Vivek is up and talking, then we'll go live with Vivek, okay? And so this is obviously something that captured the eyes of the world. People are watching, and I don't know if you're going to do better. Maybe Vivek's very, very good at this stuff. Maybe you'll do better than J.D. Vance yesterday. J.D. Vance outside of the court yesterday at this little dais, and this is the photo of J.D. Vance yesterday in court. Such a strong, smart, young, sharp senator. If you're familiar with his work, he wrote Hillbilly Elegy. He's the man's probably got a 160 IQ. He is a populist with a capital P, and J.D. Vance is king. Okay, he should give you inspiration for what comes next. To give you inspiration for what happens next in our party. Here's what J.D. had to say in front of the court yesterday.
About what I've witnessed so far in my couple hours in there. First of all, Michael Cohen is the prosecution's star witness. This guy is a convicted felon who admitted in his testimony that he secretly recorded his former employer, that he only did it once, allegedly, and that this was supposed to help Donald Trump. Does any reasonable, sensible person believe anything that Michael Cohen says? I don't think that they should, and I actually think that his testimony is going to hurt with any reasonable juror, and hopefully we have a few of those. I want to say two other things here very quickly. Number one, the thing that the president is prevented from saying, which is a disgrace, is that every single person involved in this prosecution is practically a Democratic political operative. The judge inside, his daughter, is making millions of dollars running against Donald Trump, raising money for Donald Trump's political opponents. The number 3 person in the Department of Justice, Biden's Department of Justice, left to become a local prosecutor to go after Donald Trump. And of course, there's Alvin Bragg, a Soros-funded prosecutor who promised to go after Donald Trump and now is doing exactly that.
I love the guy with the Trump 1 banner. Come on, bring that in. Whose dad is that? Whose dad is that? Don't come get your father. Whose dad is that? Walking around with the Trump 1 banner behind JT Vance, giving that flamethrower of a commentary. I love JD's style. He's obviously got a safe seat from Ohio. He can be senator for as long as he wants. I think the man could potentially be president someday. He's got a really bright political future. Many are saying that he will be Donald Trump's VP. Now, the poll is up. There's already 4,000 votes in the poll. So get in there and vote. Let's see. I am astonished at the current results of this poll. Get in there. We got a poll running, pinned to the top of the YouTube chat. Vivek, Byron, Tulsi, or JD Vance. Get in there. Let me know. It's kind of a dead heat right now. I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked at who you want for VP. We will post the results of the poll, and the last time we posted about the VP, Donald Trump screenshotted it, shared it himself. So show the president who you want, right? Let's go. We know who the president wants in front of the camera. It's Miss Haba. We call her queen. We call her the Slay Queen, the Ice Queen, maybe. We shall name her. The Knife Queen. She posts videos with guns. She posts videos with knives, but the most dangerous weapon she's got is, well, talking in front of a camera. And that's what Alina Habba was doing yesterday. This happened, of course, after we were live. Let's go. Alina Habba, take it away.
Last time I checked, there's something called attorney-client privilege. Obviously, that doesn't stand if you're going against Donald Trump, because none of the rules stand if you're going against Donald Trump in a political campaign where he's winning, and they have no other way to win but to take him down with illegal and politically motivated lawfare. You said it best, Sean. Hillary Clinton did something far worse, and the FEC looked at it, they examined it, and what'd they do? They gave her a slap on the wrist. She paid, I think, $8,000 for hiding a dirty dossier, the Russian hoax against Donald Trump, and nobody cared about anything. She wasn't dragged into court. Neither was Bill Clinton in the sock drawer case, and the list goes on and on and on. But if you're Donald Trump, you're going to be gagged unconstitutionally so that you can't even discuss testimony of people that are calling you a liar, and you can't defend yourself. Can I tell you, Sean, I have never seen anything worse than what I saw today. I'm not going to get into the testimony of somebody under oath on the witness stand, but I think that if you read the news, it speaks for itself.
Habba was on our program. This is how much they love you. Okay, this is how hard we work. Habba was on our program on Friday for like 40 straight minutes. This is Donald Trump's spokesperson and lawyer for 40 straight minutes on our program, talking about cooking, talking about shooting, talking about obviously shooting down these insane cases against Donald Trump, and just bringing a wrecking ball. Okay, across the country, whether it's Fulton County, Georgia, whether it's Eileen Cannon in Florida, Washington, D.C. with the Obama judge, or in New York. Alina Habba was on fire, and obviously is doing tons of media from New York, where she is right now. She's also in sort of that phalanx behind Donald Trump. And you'll say, dear Benny, oh Benny, of course Alina Habba on Fox News on Sean Hannity's show is going to be in favor of Donald Trump. Clearly, you're just cherry picking the clips to ensure that you can promote a narrative that this case is in collapse. Okay, I got something for you. How about CNN? How about CNN's chief legal analyst in charge of their entire legal team on air yesterday, actually delivering a far more blistering, destructive takedown of this case than I saw all day on conservative media. Check this. You want to know how bad it's going? Check out this clip from legal analyst Eli Horning on CNN. Wow.
Here's what makes Michael Cohen so unusual, so unique. I've never seen a witness with bigger credibility problems than Michael Cohen. I've definitely seen witnesses. I've definitely used witnesses who've done way worse things than Michael Cohen. But I've never seen a witness who's lied to Congress, who's lied in court, who's lied to the IRS, who's lied to the Southern District of New York, who lied to his banker. The entire prosecution witness team has been lied to.
So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we do have some commentary. We do have some commentary from the court, happening live right now. Let's hop on over to Byron Donalds, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're just doing it live. We have Byron speaking in front of the court right now. And there's Corey Mills. The reason why Corey Mills is not on our program, ladies and gentlemen, is because Corey Mills is in front of the courthouse right now. Let's go ahead and listen in. We're going to have to get some soundboard situation worked on there, Klein. So let's pop them off until we can get that sound ready to rock. Unfortunately, we may be having a small glitch with our audio. But we got breaking news out of the courthouse. We will tell you something, that if there was a clip ever to show you exactly how valuable muted clips could be, it would be this from CNN. We've never seen anything like this. CNN did a live role play yesterday.
I'll tell you right now, the same way that I stand here,
here we go.
Steadfast
all right, there we go.
President, I know that America stands with him as well. They see this sham indictment. They see this for what it is, without any actual substance whatsoever. Keep in mind, they keep actually talking about the FEC violations, but when you're utilizing personal funds or you're utilizing a trust, that is not campaign funding. There is no violation, which is why the FEC never actually even pursued this. And so I think the American people see this for what it is. They want to keep President Trump off the campaign trail. They're seeing what's happening in the swing states across America, and they're seeing exactly that this is draining down assets and resources that can be utilized by the president to continue to forge ahead, to build a stronger economy, to secure our border, and to get our nation back on track. This is a sham, and that is the only thing this is. Michael Cohen has no credibility, no integrity, and this is weaponization against our president.
Here we go.
I want to thank my colleagues, Governor Burgum, Congressman Mills, and Congressman Donalds, for laying out the political backdrop here. This is a politicized persecution that is nakedly apparent. What I want to do is dive a little bit deeper into what we actually learned today in that courtroom. What do we see in there? First of all, I learned a lot from being in there in person. It is one of the most depressing places I have been in my life, but it is fitting because the only thing more depressing than the environment of that courtroom is what's actually happening in there. It's straight out of a Kafka novel. The prosecution's main strategy appears to be to bore the jurors into submission. And if you look in that direction, sadly, it may appear to actually be working. Now, I would like for anybody here in the press, anybody at home, anybody in MSNBC or the media afterwards, to clearly state what exactly is the crime that Donald Trump committed. Oh, wait, we have not heard a good answer to that question. It has been vague until today. You heard Michael Cohen's testimony, after which I would say it is less clear than ever what that crime actually was. They'll say falsifying business records. Well, let's look at who did we learn falsified business records today? Yet, what, hour, 2 hours, felt like it could have been 7 hours of Michael Cohen talking about how he falsified business records. Okay, so you have a guy who has been a perjurer in the past that is now saying he falsified business records. What is the crime that Donald Trump committed? Now, it appears to be what they might allege is some sort of bookkeeping error or whatever. The real bookkeeping that we need accounting of is Judge Merchan's own family member collecting millions of dollars as a Democratic operative, using the existence of this trial as a fundraising ploy for Democrats. This is unconscionable. Imagine if the same shoe fit the other foot. Imagine if it was Joe Biden that was on trial. You had a Republican judge whose son was collecting millions of dollars as a Republican operative. What would you all be saying? This would not be justice. This is injustice at its worst. So let's go even a layer deeper, right? Because let's go even a layer deeper, actually. The alleged crime here is supposedly, they try to point to this every day, that he does not actually use campaign funds, that he used personal funds. Well, let's get this straight. Suppose Donald Trump had used campaign funds to make a personal expense. They'd be going after him for that. So if they're going to get him going or they're going to get him coming, that is the best proof that this is a politicized sham. Let's go through it piece by piece. If you tell somebody to go buy you a suit and you want to look good on television because that'll affect the voters, the way voters vote for you, you know what? They prosecute politicians if they use campaign funds to buy a suit. If they say, go get a haircut, if you use campaign funds to get a haircut because you want to look good to the voters, they will actually prosecute you for using campaign funds for a personal expense. Yet the entire legal theory of this case, the whole case that Alvin Bragg has brought, depends on one premise for them to charge this as a felony, is that Donald Trump somehow should have used campaign funds to make an allegedly personal payment. Yet if he had done that, their case against him would be even stronger. This is garbage. That is the best proof that you have that if they're going to get him Cohen or get him coming, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. This is a sham. This is not the United States of America. This is some third-rate banana republic. If this were happening in another country, we would be laughing at them as a sham democracy. I am ashamed as an American citizen to sit here in a courtroom watching the former leader of the free world, and let's be honest, likely next leader of the free world, sitting with the indignity in this dingy third-rate courtroom with fourth-rate prosecutors and a fifth-rate lawyer on the stand as a witness, who actually is violating attorney-client privilege left and right. Nobody's even talking about that. So this is a shame. Shame on the spirit in our country's history, but we will get through it and be stronger because you know who ultimately actually cast the vote on this case? It's not just the jurors in that jury box. It's every one of you at home. It's every American who votes this November to say no to the weaponization of justice. And if you're at home, you may say, you know what, I don't agree with everything Donald Trump's ever said. You know what, I may not agree with some of his policies even though they were great policies for 4 years. But you do agree, whether you are Democrat or Republican or black or white or gay or straight or man or woman, that our justice system should be blind to politics. That regardless of whether your last name is Biden or Trump, regardless of whether you've been a politician or not, you get a fair shake in our own legal system. And when you have a prosecutor who campaigned on the pledge of going after Trump and then keeps his campaign pledge, when you have a judge whose kids are collecting money from Democratic operatives by fundraising off the very trial that that judge is presiding over, and then telling the U.S. president that he's subject to a gag order, that he can't talk about it, that is not justice. That is a bastardization of what this country was founded on. And I'm here, and all of us are here as friends of Donald Trump, supporting him in our personal capacity, sharing our opinions. That's why we're here today. But I hope every American at home who isn't able to be in that courtroom is able to see what's actually happening there. And when you do, we will have a landslide of historic proportion this November if every American understands the injustice that's playing out in that courtroom today. So may God bless our country. I pray for our future, and let's pray for our country being stronger on the other side of this disgusting sham prosecution. Doug, close us out. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you, Congressman. In closing, I just want to double down on that. We're all here today because of the circus of this trial. But I want to say a word to those Americans out there that are dealing with Biden's inflation when their paychecks aren't helping them get through the end of the month because they're paying more for their gas and their food. They're paying more for their electricity. I want them to know that while this trial is going on, there's many of us around the country that are out helping campaign for President Trump to make sure that the message gets through, and that's why it's showing up in the polls, because President Trump is stronger on the border. He is stronger on crime. He is stronger on China. He is stronger on the economy. He's stronger on everything that matters to our citizens today in this country, where Biden is weak. This fall, it's going to be about strength versus weakness. The politicization of the legal system is not working. It's actually failing. And I, again, want to say, everything that these gentlemen said here today about the trial is absolutely true. But it is sad that we're here today and not out talking to the American people about the issues that matter to them the most. And with that, thank you all for being here.
Please support the president.
Take questions.
Yes.
Take questions. I mean, why not? Let's just keep it up. I'm loving these comments. Keep them coming. There's Vivek getting Vivek doing his own gaggle, right? Is what this would be called. Be a gaggle there. Recognize actually a few people. So this is the guy with the Trump 1 banner still there. Who? So come get your uncle. Okay, all right. There we go. Okay, baby. We brought it. We brought it. Now there's one thing that we missed, and we apologize. This is, again, we're live every single day. We had a small glitch with audio that was on the broadcaster's end, not on our end. We fixed it, and way to go. Here we go. The one thing that we missed because of that very slight glitch is Byron Donalds' comments. Beforehand. Maybe we can clip those, and we'll play them later on in the show. Byron Donalds is a friend of the show and a great man. We get a warning. They just show up to the microphone, right? So we cut to it as quickly as possible. And you just heard Vivek. Man, that dude was on fire. I'm looking at his comment section right now. Man, Vivek was Vivek was on fire. That guy was melting it down. Vivek was ready to rock. That was really, really good. Mike Johnson gave a much more sort of muted commentary. Corey Mills did his special forces thing, which is totally kick-ass. And Byron Donalds had an absolute boss man moment. A lot of people voting for Byron's SVP. Again, hop in there. Get your votes in. We'll make sure we post it. Donald Trump reads our X. What can you say? So make sure that you post it in there and let us know who you want as VP. Perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have one or many of these members of Congress pop on the program. It looks like they are going to be very busy because they're going to be eaten alive by the gaggle of reporters outside. There is one extremely cringeworthy thing that you must see, ladies and gentlemen. And then we're going to get to our guest for the day, which is spectacular. Somebody who knows more about staffing Donald Trump and more about what Donald Trump's going through right now than perhaps anybody alive. Somebody who was about as close to the president as you could possibly get. And we'll be able to give us a lot of insight sort of into how this is all working. But first, ladies and gentlemen, nuclear cringe. And I can't even believe that this is real. CNN did a ASMR sex club role play live on air where they read the transcript from yesterday and they brought in 2 actors to do it. It's so funny. It's so embarrassing. Ladies and gentlemen. This you got to see. It's our nuclear cringe. It's our nuclear cringe for the day. Let's go ahead and pop it up. Feel free to dump salt, by the way. Just because it's not a salt that lib, you can dump salt in the comment section. We appreciate the sodium. We'll be happy to put it up on screen also. So dump your salt into the comment section. Vivek just texted me. I just did the press conference. Yeah, Vivek, we saw. All right, maybe we'll get Vivek on the show program. Let's see. But okay, I know everyone has a lot of salt built up. Let's pour it onto the CNN. Here's our nuclear cringe for the day. CNN doing a creepy live action role play of the courtroom drama yesterday.
Now, after you learned from Dylan Howard and from Keith Davidson about the Stormy Daniels story and are wanting to publish that story and the conversations about purchasing that story, did you speak to Mr. Trump?
I did.
Can you tell us, first of all, why did you speak to Mr. Trump about it?
Because it was a matter that affected him, and because that was what I always did, which was to keep him abreast of everything.
Oh, okay. Got it. Very good. Thank you very much, CNN, for doing it. It goes on for 7 minutes. I kid you not. It goes on for 7 minutes. I care about you too much, ladies and gentlemen, to play you the rest of that. But you can find it on our X. So we have the former director of White House presidential personnel, founder of The Right Stuff, somebody who has become a social media phenomenon, and somebody who could give some really deep insight into what's happening with Donald, Trump's, the terminology for this is body man, okay? Somebody who's at Trump's side for years, all right? John McEntee joins the program now. John, thank you so much for being on the show. I really apologize for the breaking news, man.
No, it's all good.
It's wild how it all works, but I'm honored to have you on the program. You may recognize John because John is the man who you see ubiquitously in all of your TikTok feeds, if you're on TikTok or Instagram feeds. Here's some of his work. I don't mean to put you on the spot here, John, but
two wars simultaneously, then they're taxing us way too much. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to force dumb people to go to college and then lower the standards for everyone so those dumb people can pass. Never ask a woman her age, a man his salary, or Congress where the $700 billion in COVID stimulus went. So the man who accidentally left 300,000 guns for the Taliban is going to lecture us on gun control?
John, we just want to thank you for this. It brings joy to our feed every single day.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun doing it, and yeah, it's really taken off. It's brought a lot of people to our site, so we kind of found this. TikTok is really the best app if you have no following and you're trying to reach a large audience. So in about a year, we've been able to take off there. Yeah,
incredible. Can you shout out your TikTok though, because I'm sure people want to go follow?
Yeah, Date Right Stuff. So our app is The Right Stuff. It's the dating app for conservatives. And then on Instagram and TikTok, we're Date Right Stuff, DATE. Yeah.
All right. So you were The Right Stuff, and you were with Donald Trump for years, and you were connected sort of at the hip. I mean, if I understand this correctly, and would know probably more than virtually anybody because of your access to the president, what he's going through right now in New York. Could you sort of pull back a little bit and illuminate for us, like what you're seeing with Trump? Yeah. We're blown away.
Well,
by the way,
let me start by saying I started as a volunteer on the Trump campaign and kind of just worked my way up. And as you said, the body man is the person with the president 24/7. So whether he's in the office or on Air Force One or on a foreign trip, a domestic trip, you're next to him. You're making sure he has everything he needs. So you get a front row seat to history, and you get to see how the man operates, how he works with others, how he views the world. And, the biggest takeaway with what we're seeing in New York, I would say, is that, I saw him time after time, never back down. That was kind of his biggest message, and the biggest theme of his life is like, never back down. And I think that's what we're seeing.
So perhaps you could tell us, was the FBI raid at Mar-a-Lago to find the Fountain of Youth? How's the guy getting younger? How's that possible? Because he's actually aging in reverse.
I think maybe, moving south and being in Florida with the sun and the exercise, walking around the golf course, maybe it's all culminating in this Fountain of Youth. I think Florida's done him good. I think he's energized with the upcoming election. I think anytime people punch him, he wants to punch back. And I think he's building and growing off of that with all of the indictments and all of the incoming. So it should make for an exciting year. It already has so far.
Fueled entirely by Diet Coke and McDonald's, and it's really exciting to see.
We share the same diet. If you've seen our TikToks, I'm either eating like ice cream, a plain cheeseburger, some sort of pasta. So we have a similar taste in food.
So I just gotta add, I don't know if you've written a book or anything like that, but I gotta just ask, can you give us some insights as to what it's like being really truly like connected to the hip with Donald Trump in some of the most probably exotic locations, some of the most wild and dynamic situations? Any like stories that come to top of mind?
Yeah, well, I'll just start by, so when I was a volunteer at one of the first debates in 2015, someone mentioned to me the role of a body guy, and they're like, this person is with the president 24/7. Like, he goes everywhere. He has his phone. He has his Sharpie. He has his, soda. And, I was thinking, I was like, that is the coolest job I have ever heard of in my entire life. And so that was kind of in the back of my mind. And then about a year later, I kind of morphed into that role. So I did that on the campaign from June of 16 till he won. There we were doing 3, 4, 5 states a day. It was crazy. We're all on Trump Force One. There's a small staff. You got to kind of time the food order to make sure it hits the plane right as we're arriving from the rally. That's kind of fun to make sure the food's still hot and, we don't miss the plane. So working with the advance team, doing all of that, coordinating with all the different groups on the ground, just seeing a campaign from the ground up was really cool. And then working into the White House, that kind of morphed into, personal aid to the president. It's a similar role, but now you're interacting with the Secret Service, you're interacting with the foreign dignitaries, the foreign staff, like all these different people. You meet amazing people. I would say the coolest thing when you work the White House is Marine One. Everyone knows, you see the president walk on the lawn out to the helicopter, and he gets on the helicopter and flies to the the Air Force Base to get on Air Force One. That's just such a unique experience to fly through D.C. You're on the plane with the president, the ruler of the free world, and it's just an exciting time. I think one of the coolest things to see was just how he interacted with other world leaders, because he's our champion, he's America's leader. And you see him there with all of these people, Xi and China and Putin and, all of these world leaders. And it's like, this is our guy. And, is he representing us well? And I think he did from a position of strength. And it was just a really, really cool experience.
So two follow-ups to that. One, do you think that Trump will go? I think everybody remembers that season in 2016 where it's like, how this man is unstoppable. How is he doing this? How is he doing 5 campaign hits a day? Trump's a closer. Are we going to see that Trump after these trials end?
I think if you know Trump well, he will do whatever it takes to win. So if that's what's needed, which it probably will be, I think he will do that. Right now, obviously, he's tied up in court, and a lot of people say this is the worst thing ever because it's keeping him from the campaign trail. I don't know about that. It's getting a lot of coverage, and I think it might be turning a lot of Americans to Trump rather than away from Trump. But we'll have to see.
Mm-hmm. Secondarily, you said that I said, what's the best experience? And you brought up Marine One. I've never been on Marine One, probably will never go, but that's just got to be like top tier stuff. That's just unbelievable. When you see Joe Biden wobble very shakily out to Marine One and barely make it there, it's gotta hurt your heart.
Yeah, it does a little bit. I know the first time seeing him do that, or just seeing him in the White House in general when we had just left, kind of felt weird, kind of felt wrong. We all wanted, Trump to stay there, but hopefully he'll get his chance again. And I think maybe having a break of 4 years and then returning could be a super positive thing. You could not only do you have the contrast, but you have the time to kind of build your team and think through what we learned. And, you kind of get a fresh start. A fresh first term is probably more valuable than a second term. So this could all work out in America's favor.
It's actually fascinating. I've never actually thought about it that way. That's an amazing point that you brought up. Like the pressure cooker was up so high, whether it's COVID or whether it's impeachments, the pressure cooker was up so high that perhaps perhaps giving Trump a chance to retool and rebuild and then come back stronger, which it looks like. I know this is going to sound sycophantic, but he's run a perfect campaign so far. The moves he's made have been excellent, and it's very different from 2016. I think in a good way. And as somebody who had a front row seat, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think every campaign has been different. 2016 was I'm the outsider, I'm hard charging, it's a startup, I'm doing whatever it takes, I'm obliterating the entire system. You can't have that same approach when you're the incumbent president. It just doesn't work, doesn't sell, and then now being this kind of return from Elba is a whole new factor where everyone had written him off. And now it seems like he's growing stronger. It's kind of has this aura about it that has taken on a whole new thing. And I think his staff is really competent and really good. I think they're great political organizers. I think they're keeping his campaign team small, which is smart. But yeah, to the other part about if he does win, now we know a lot of things we didn't before. And that's why kind of what I'm helping the Heritage Foundation on. And, we're kind of setting up for whatever he decides to do with his official transition team is, everything we've learned and all the people we know that were good the first time and can come back in senior roles and just hit the ground running. You could do a lot of good and a lot of damage, especially in a conservative direction to kind of right the ship very, very quickly.
Yes. So you brought up foreign leaders. I don't know. Were you on the North Korea trip?
I was not on that trip. No, I was on a few of the others. I was on his first trip when he did, Saudi and Italy and all of those. I was on the one to the Asia swing where we did the big conference, and then we went to China and Japan and South Korea. But no, that was there were 2 years in between. I worked the first year of the administration and the last year of the administration. I think the Kim Jong-un trip was somewhere in between.
Okay. Well, this would have been the look walking into North Korea right here. This would have been the look right here. And Kim would have asked you if you had what you have in the backpack. Is it a Dennis Rodman book? Is it a basketball? We play that clip all the time. It's our favorite clip probably from the fact that he claps Trump on the shoulder and Trump hits him up. Trump calls him thin, and then they walk into North Korea. It's unbelievable.
It's classic. It's classic. And I think that's one of the things that makes Trump great is that he's willing to talk to anyone. You know, that's actually statesmanship. We have a lot of people on the right that want to just demonize every world leader and every, political entity that's not exactly like ours. It's like, guys, you need to talk to everyone, like de-escalate every conflict. And I think that's one of Trump's great strengths.
Incredible. So final question here, as you are part of this presidential transition project, I believe that's the correct name for it, 2025. You're a senior advisor to that project. What can our audience expect in a year 2025 Donald Trump's second term?
Yeah, well, all the policy is going to derive from the campaign and then obviously the candidate or president himself. What we're focused on, my aspect, is personnel, and that's gathering the best people throughout the country. If anyone wants to work, you can go to project2025.org and you can fill out an application. And basically what we're doing is training you on how to be an effective political appointee. Because what happened last time is not that everyone was anti-Trump or, most were pro-Trump, most were on board, but they didn't know how to work in government, Yes. And when you just let the bureaucracy do its thing, it's always going to go left-wing. It's never going to go in the direction of what the White House is trying to achieve. So what we're doing is saying, here's how you navigate the bureaucracy. Here's how here's the chain of command. Here's, more direction and more oversight from the White House. How do we get all of these things linked so everyone's rowing in the same direction? And I think that's how we can really be effective. So project2025.org is, collecting people right now, resumes and suggestions and recommendations. And then we have a huge database with 10,000 resumes already. And, probably 2 or 3 times that will come throughout the year. So anybody who wants to work in government that thinks they can be a, political operator and wants to give it a try, come, take the class and learn about, what to do and everything. So it's exciting,
This could be your resume. This could be your resume Donald Trump is holding right here in this photo with John. It could be your resume right there. Trump signing his name, saying approved, come work in the Trump administration.
Yeah, I think when I first wanted to work for Trump, I was Googling. I didn't know how to get to the campaign. I couldn't find anything. I was like emailing Ivanka's clothing company. I was emailing his golf courses, because I felt really driven to work in government, or not in government, to work for the candidate. But if that's you out there and you're like, man, I want to get involved, I can make a difference. Now there's a way, so I think it's a really valuable thing to have now and for the movement going forward.
Project 2025. Here's the webpage. John is one of those guys who, again, is just ubiquitous online, a unbelievable team player, and somebody who clearly has an eye on the future. Godspeed, John.
Thanks for having me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're rip-roaring this morning. We are rip-roaring this morning. We do not have word. We have a little bit. We have some news to get to, but we do not have word exactly from Corey Mills or Vivek when they can join the show. I want to let you know we're efforting to get them on the program. This is awesome. I hope that you guys follow John and sign up for that project. It would be cool to hear what it was like standing in the court with Trump. We're gonna hear potentially back from them, but we will see, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see. Eric Trump is somebody we'd love to get live, but he's literally in court right now with Donald Trump. Eric Trump was on Fox News last night talking about what it's like in court and also describing the prosecutors as Soros prosecutors trying to take out Trump. Eric Trump's such an excellent spokesperson, man. He's such an excellent spokesperson. You can see why Donald Trump entrusted his entire Trump organization to Eric. They're coming after Eric for this, and here he is last night.
It's really amazing how he comes out, and I mean, the email chains clearly show this. But Laura, that's not what this is about. They want to take my father down in New York. They want to do it civilly. They want to do it criminally. They want to do it in Georgia. They want to try and do it in Washington, D.C. They go to the farthest left areas of this country. They have radical prosecutors, all with one thing in common. They're all funded by Soros, every single one, and they have a damn mission to go after Donald Trump because he's winning in every poll. And when you see Wildwood on Saturday, where he has 100,000 people show up, 100,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, Bruce Springsteen can't pull half of that amount.
Don't steal our thunder. We're getting into
Trying not to, but I'm excited about this. And then you see him in the New York Times polls today, where he's winning in every single swing state.
Yeah, okay. So Eric Trump bringing the energy. We do still have our poll up. We do want to play you Byron Donalds out front of the courthouse. Do we have Byron Donalds out front of the courthouse ready to go? If not, then, ladies and gentlemen, it is loading up. We don't want to cut away. We would never want to do Byron Donalds dirty. Okay, Byron's a friend of the show, and when they went live with the commentary, you were watching live with us. But Byron Donalds was too quick to the microphone, and we weren't able to capture his commentary. And so we do have Byron Donalds clipped for you. And since Byron Donalds is part of our poll right here, and you can vote for him for Donald Trump's vice president. Oh, 10,000 votes. Jeez, okay. Hey, get in there. 10,000 votes for VP. We will show this to Donald Trump. Well, we'll do our best, at least. We'll show it to his team. Here's Byron Donalds out front of the court from seconds ago. And we played you Vivek's commentary live, Doug Burgum's commentary live, Corey Mills' commentary live. Here's our boy Byron.
Ladies and gentlemen of America, this trial is a joke. This thing is a farce. We were in there all morning. Michael Cohen basically sat there and said, yeah, he invoiced legal expenses. The Trump campaign, the Trump organization, not the campaign, paid out money in legal expenses. Where's the crime? There is no crime. The only crime that's happening here is this Democrat judge and the Democrat Party prosecuting their political rival right in the middle of a presidential election. The crime here is that the issues facing our nation are not being addressed by the Democrats, but they want to go after Donald Trump. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing that has been wrong here. Nothing that has been done poorly by President Trump. The only thing that's being done wrong is by this judge. His daughter's making money, raising money for Democrats. And all of the fundraising emails and all the fundraising things are about this trial that his daughter is using. He won't recuse himself. This is a travesty of justice. This is a misuse of the justice system. And look around New York. New York's got plenty of issues. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. You have all of NYPD's finest down here because of this travesty going on in that courtroom. Meanwhile, the citizens of New York are less safe. And the district attorney in New York is not prosecuting real crime. He's a Soros-backed DA going after his chief political rival in Donald Trump. America is better than this. And so, unfortunately, it's going to take the American people this November to let their voices be heard on this travesty of justice that's occurring and making sure that Donald Trump is the 47th president of the United States. I've never seen anything like it. This is a joke. It is a farce. It is a travesty. We are better than this as Americans. And unfortunately, the Democrat Party has lost their ever-loving minds. And so it's going to take the American people to remind them that justice is supposed to be blind. It is not supposed to be going after political opponents and political rivals. With that, I'll turn it over to my colleague from Florida, Congressman Corey Mills.
They have lost their ever-loving minds. Byron Donalds. Oh, baby. Let's book him for later in the week. We promise you we will book Byron Donalds for later in the week. We will have him on for you, and you can obviously ask him. We'll ask questions live, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that this is an interactive show. Our job is to break the matrix, okay? Nothing against Andrew Tate, but like breaking the matrix in our own way is very, very different. What we want to do is create a world where nobody's talking at you, where people are talking with you, where it's a dynamic conversation between you, me, and our guests, right? Where you can talk with our guests and where we like this audience is real. It's alive, okay? Check the chat. It's alive. It's real. It's rolling. And so that's our obligation to you. Breaking the matrix for us means no more of the stuffy suits, the studios in far off liberal hellscapes, and no more of that. That's terrestrial. That's people speaking to, that's people yelling or talking at you and not with you And so this is our obligation, ladies and gentlemen, to do that. Now, I didn't know that Byron Donalds was from New York City. I didn't know that. I didn't know that he was from Brooklyn. Ladies and gentlemen, Byron Donalds is a congressman from Florida, has a fantastic district here in Florida. A lot of rumblings down here that Byron Donalds, who is number 2 in our poll right now, Vivek number 1, Byron Donalds is number 2, Tulsi and JD Vance in that order. But things could change, okay? Things could change. Ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to see the results of the poll, just hop in there and vote. 10,000 comments in the chat, almost 10,000 votes right now in the chat. So let's rock and roll, and we'll show this to Trump. Byron Donalds bringing the energy here from the sweet, beautiful state of Florida. Now, the beautiful state of Florida actually brings us energy every single morning in the form of blackout coffee, which is what fills my now empty Brigade mug because we drink that juice quickly right before the show and get ourselves a little pop of true American energy. Blackout coffee is the coffee that I drink every single morning. I drink it black because it is so very good. Doesn't need milk, doesn't need sugar. It is directly from the state of Florida. It is made with a deep sense of pride in this country, made by veterans, made by a family, and made by people who love this place a lot and want to keep us energized to fight the communists. That's it. Their tagline is "Be awake, not woke." And ladies and gentlemen, they live up to that every single day. Blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. 20% off your first order. Do not give money to these woke coffee companies. Ladies and gentlemen, Starbucks isn't going to collapse for a reason. Okay, baby. Let's go. Speaking of collapse, Alan Dershowitz, the inarguably the greatest defense attorney of all time. You may not like that, but that's just the way it is. So Alan Dershowitz on saying, this case is a fraud. It's fake. It's not real. And this is an abomination of justice. Strong words. Let's go.
I've been doing this 60 years, and I can't find the crime here. What I can find is a crime committed today in the courtroom by Michael Cohen. He looked the jury in the eye and he lied. They asked him why he tape recorded his client. And instead of saying, well, maybe I was afraid, I needed some protection, he made up this whole story about why he did it for a pecker. And nobody is going to believe that. And I think this raises serious ethical problems for the prosecutors. In 60 years of doing this, I have never put a witness like Michael Cohen on the stand because I have ethics. And good lawyers don't put people on the stand who they know are going to lie, either on direct, and he lied, I believe, on direct, or on cross. And we're going to see lie after lie after lie on cross. And so we see ethical violations occurring right in front of us and lies occurring right in front of us. We don't even have to get into the issue that he lied before and he went to jail. He lied right to this jury. And I hope at least the lawyers on the jury will see through it.
So that's pretty strong words from, I know there's a lot of people who don't like Dersh, but listen, the guy is a legend and he is the most prominent defense attorney in American history. And he's sitting there saying these people, the criminals are the people standing across from Trump, not Trump, the people across from Trump that are suborning perjury and putting known liars up on the stand. Like Michael Cohen, Greg Jarrett deciding to, in his own very special way, he's just like a blistering pundit on Fox, in his own very special way, go at Michael Cohen with a verbal chainsaw here, just absolute destruction. Michael Cohen, sayonara. Let's go.
But I will say that Cohen today failed to connect Trump to any crimes. And I know that prosecutors know that. So tomorrow they're going to try to change things, Sean. Cohen will probably do what he always does best. He'll lie. He'll say, oh, yes, Trump ordered me to falsely record these expenses as legal expenses. The trouble is that's going to be a tough sell because today he recounted all the legal actions he took that constituted legal expenses. I'm not sure he understood it because he's not a bright guy.
The real test for Michael Cohen, Sean, will be cross-examination. The defense will spend a full day confronting him with his innumerable lies, and then they'll ask the question one by one. Were you lying then, or are you lying now? And once these jurors, Sean, see some of the seething, unhinged, lunatic rants by Cohen on TikTok, they're going to hate him. But the question is, do they hate Donald Trump more? Will they acquit because there's no evidence of crimes, or convict for purely political reasons? That's what Alvin Bragg is counting on because, Sean, he has no case.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Vivek texting us that he's inside the courthouse with Donald Trump right now. He obviously can't go live from inside of the courthouse, but he's standing next to Donald Trump, saying that we need to do a better job in movement as a party going forward into specifics of this case, which are actually appalling. High-level talking points are good, but the specifics are egregious. We're going to book something long form with Vivek. Let's just book something long form with Vivek. I'm not sure that we'll be able to. We have no idea when this trial will be over. So we're going to book something long form. We're going to get into it. We'll do a show where we do like an hour with Vivek, and he can tell us everything about what he experienced today. We'll book that in the next 24 hours. You have my word. Okay, you have my word. Watch the show. Watch us build the show. Let's build the show together, right? Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have everybody, including the Trump haters on Fox News, uniting to back Trump. The point of the show is unite and win. We want to win as the Salty Army. We want to win as America First. And we don't want to lose as the Salty Army. We want the salt to flow in their direction, ladies and gentlemen. And so this is what uniting looks like. There's a guy who hates Donald Trump. His name's Andy McCarthy. He's also a lawyer and a professor and somebody who's, again, really storied in the legal profession, and he's trotting. He's having to go on Fox News and defend like a dog Donald Trump against these charges. It is incredible how unifying this is. Isn't it neat? It's amazing how when you have a common enemy, when people are seeing how Soviet the Democrat Party has become, that it actually unifies all sides, and that's a positive thing. It's a good thing. Here's Andy McCarthy.
Has the state proven that fraud has taken place?
No, as Jonathan's pointed out, they haven't come close to proving that fraud has taken place. And they don't just have to prove that fraud has taken place. They have to prove that it was fraud that included a specific intent to commit another crime, which we believe is a federal campaign finance crime. It's astonishing that we can't say that with complete certainty. That's supposed to be spelled out in the indictment. But there's not a scintilla of evidence that Trump was even thinking about federal campaign law, let alone that they conspired to violate it. And I think it's important to make this distinction. You can make an agreement, which, as Jonathan just said, is a legal arrangement to not disclose or to try to bury politically embarrassing information. You could absolutely intend to do that. That doesn't mean that you were even thinking about the federal campaign finance laws, much less willfully violating them beyond a reasonable doubt, which is what Bragg has to prove here to get a conviction, at least as a matter of law. Whether they can sway the jury is another matter.
So unification is good. You don't like Mike Johnson? I don't like Mike Johnson. Andy McCarthy is anti-MAGA. You're right. He's not a Trump supporter. Getting all these guys to unify, getting all these people to come together and say with a unified voice, including the CNN clips, which is unbelievable, MSNBC clips, for everybody to say this is a nightmare that Joe Biden's done. In a second here, I'll play you how Kamala Harris is dropping F-bombs and then cackling into the sun, and how Joe Biden is introducing himself as Kamala Harris. We're breaking these people. We're breaking them. We're breaking their brains. We're breaking them, ladies and gentlemen. It's really, really special. One final word from the legal scholars. I often tell you, I went to community college, all right? So it's not like I don't pretend to be a legal scholar. We're alive. We pay attention. That's our superpower, all right? We pattern recognition. That's the one thing that we can do. And we do our best to do it with you and for you. So the legal scholars, the actual professors like Jonathan Turley, are saying, listen, there should actually be consequences for the people bringing these prosecutions. Now you're starting to get like the political side and the legal side together saying the overstep here should mean huge personal and political and financial penalties for these people who are putting us through all this. Watch Charlie.
His role here is quite telling because the government has yet to establish what are called the elements of any crime in this case. So they're at the end of their witness list, and it's now becoming apparent what the strategy is, and that is Bragg is relying on a motivated judge and a motivated jury to take him where he needs to go for conviction. But before he gets there, he has to be able to credibly argue that anyone said that there was direct evidence that Trump not only wanted to keep this silent, that's not a crime, but intentionally committed fraud, intentionally wanted this denotation as a legal expense to conceal a crime. Michael Cohen appears to be the person that he's going to do that. Now, you can look at that and say, but who would believe someone that just a few weeks ago was denounced as a serial perjurer by another judge?
So every single scholar, including a bunch of Democrats who are on Fox News and CNN and MSNBC, are saying this is trash. This is garbage. You morons. My message to the Democrat Party. Here we go. Let's go. Let's clip this. My message to the Democrat Party. You dumb jackals. You thought you'd hurt Trump by doing this. You just gave him the biggest platform on earth. Inside of the media mecca epicenter of the universe, Manhattan Island. Donald Trump is going to do what he's done his entire career, which is to leverage, muscle, and mechanize this in his favor. How stupid are you? Good on, thanks. You dumbasses. Way to go. I don't know. It's like the mugshot all over again. It's like the mugshot all over. You thought it hurt Trump. Doesn't hurt Trump. There's a practical background. It's not his Zoom background. We build the studio. That's a practical background. That's a 4 foot tall image. It's the biggest they could print for me of Donald Trump's mugshot because it's an icon. It's iconic. You're taking the man and you are giving him the ammunition and the weapons to destroy you with. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. And so you'll get it. You'll get it. The salt must flow. And it'll be flowing your direction come November. Why? Well, presumably in America, if you run for office, you'd assume, given the fact that most of the people, most of the legal voters in this country speak English, that you should speak English. But that's not something that Joe Biden can do, as evidenced by this clip from yesterday. Here's Joe Biden trying to say this long acronym, AANHPI. Why'd they even attempt it? Why'd they even try? Here you go.
It matters now. Nearly 40% of NAAH and NHPI students rely on Pell Grants to get to college.
And Joe Biden impression. Here we go. You just got to take off the glasses. You got to droop your mouth. It gets worse. Here's our cringe alert for the day. Here's Joe Biden saying that he works for Kamala Harris. What a great thing to hear from the most powerful man in the world, the resident of the White House. Go.
My name's Joe Biden. I work for Kamala Harris. I asked her to be my vice president, but I knew I needed somebody smarter than me.
You know, it's funny. Self-deprecating humor only works if it's not too true, right? Like, then it just becomes sad. Then it just becomes like, oh, okay, that's sad. Like, this is, we know, Joe. We know you have dementia. We know you have no more frontal lobe. We know your frontal lobe is the consistency of applesauce, warm applesauce from Cracker Barrel. And so this is like not, this is no longer funny. It's sad. It's very sad. Now, we've been talking about the pressures on Kamala Harris and the pressures on the administration. This has been something that has been leading them to the breaking point. Now, yesterday we covered all the polls, how Donald Trump is up by 10, 12, and 13 points in some swing states, respectively. And how Donald Trump's up in all swing states, respectively. Sometimes it's just by a point or two, but sometimes it's by like a cavern, like in Nevada or Georgia, that is insurmountable. Insurmountable. Too big to rig, as we call it. And so it's starting to like wear on these people. Kamala Harris yesterday decided to say the F-bomb. She decided to drop an F-bomb in the midst of a speech. And it was a hard F-bomb. It wasn't a mistake. Nothing Kamala Harris does is like, it's all pre-planned. Okay, so she's trying to appeal to the youth that Joe Biden has lost. And Kamala Harris decided to sprinkle in some spicy sailor language into this. That it's more salty, though. Kamala Harris isn't edgy. We'll play you a clip of Kamala Harris dancing in just a second, and we'll show you exactly how edgy Kamala is. Oh, it's so hard to watch her dance. But this is salt. Okay? This is our salt I live for the day. This is salt because this is the breaking point. They're beginning to snap. They're beginning to get desperate. Like pre-writing a line for the vice president, for her to say an F-bomb is desperation. To appeal to the kiddos out there, that's sad. That's sick. That's desperate. That's not a position of strength. That's indecency. And it is a position of weakness. And so here, ladies and gentlemen, let's salt the sad, salty Kamala Harris, who has been broken by all of us because we're winning. Here we go.
We have to know that sometimes people will open the door for you and leave it open. Sometimes they won't. And then you need to kick that f***ing door down. Excuse my language.
So edgy. So hardcore. So edgy. Yes, Kamala. Yes, Kamala. You are so hardcore. Look at these dance moves. Kamala Harris, she's such a G. Kamala Harris has the dance moves of a divorcee PTA mom who just dropped her stepkids off at soccer practice early and has decided to guzzle two for one margaritas at Chili's with the salt rim before ordering some jalapeno poppers for her and her other degenerate drunk wine mom friends. This is the lady who gets into her 2006 mauve Escalade after guzzling said 2-for-1 happy hour margaritas at Chili's and proceeds to get a DUI on the way to pick up her stepkids from soccer practice at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is who Kamala Harris is. She's not cool. She's not edgy. She's humiliating. And she humiliates and disgraces our entire country. And so it's not funny that she drops an F-bomb. It's not edgy or neat. It's sad. Kamala Harris is a desperate, empty person who's an empty vessel. And she has an empty heart and an empty soul. And she desperately looks for approval from strangers, which is, by the way, the actions of a sociopath. Kamala Harris is a very bad person. It will be so exciting to watch Kamala Harris lose. And lose they will. In November, we shall win. Final funny story from the day here, which isn't funny at all. When Joe Biden was at a dignified transfer of the 13 American soldiers that he slaughtered in Afghanistan, he looked at his watch. This is something that he did do because there's literal video evidence of this. Yet Jen Psaki has decided that she wasn't going to include that, or she was going to lie about that in her book. Jen Psaki has now been forced to retract false claim in her book that Biden did not check his watch during the ceremony for U.S. troops. Ex-White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki is being forced to retract a false claim in her book that Biden didn't check his watch during when the 13 troops were dignified transfer of 13 troops, that his administration got killed. In her May 2024 tome, Say More, Psaki attacked her former boss's critics, ourselves being one of them. ALX, I think that ALX and I were the two people who no, ALX, we got this big, massive fact check written about us at the time. We were some of the first people to notice it. Were we not? We were some of the first people to notice this. ALX and I watch all this stuff live. It was a very different show back then. We saw this, and we were like, Biden checked his watch. Put it up. And then they all came for us. They were so angry at this. They were so angry at us for saying the truth. Jen Psaki continues her lies, apparently claiming that we were lying about this, even though there's literal video of it. Axios first reported on the book's inaccuracy. Photos, videos, and media fact checkers at the time of the ceremony had already confirmed Biden's heartless action. They had to actually change their fact checks because we fought back, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it was like meeting Joe Biden. This is Stephen Nakui, whose son, who I believe was Corporal Nakui, died in the at the gate there in Afghanistan. That horrific gate that we all knew something awful. You could feel it rising in the pit of your soul. You saw the collapse in Afghanistan. You knew something terrible was going to happen, and indeed it did. 13 American service members did not need to lose their lives. It was totally and completely because of Joe Biden and his jackassery, his suicidal jackassery that any of these soldiers lost their lives. Here's Stephen Nakui, the father of a slain Marine at that gate in Afghanistan, describing what it was like to meet Joe Biden.
It's devastating, but it's not really surprising from this administration and from the people that have worked in it. They continue to lie, to manipulate facts and change, their narratives to support their narratives, and to try to change the history, regardless of what mishaps they've done. And for them to do it at the expense of us, Gold Star parents at a moment that we're grieving the most for our children as they're passing the caskets by. I mean, I couldn't even concentrate on that. I was so focused and so infuriated with our president and the conduct that he was portraying at that dignified transfer that I missed my son being passed into the van.
Yeah, your son Kareem was 20 years old. Unbelievable.
Ladies and gentlemen, that man deserves obviously our respect. This is what happened to us at the time. This was in January of 2022. USA Today reached out to us to try and fact check that Joe Biden didn't look at his watch. Someone named Daniel Funke. There are dozens of us. Got it? Okay. Disgraced USA Today content creator Daniel Funke is trying to fact check a perfectly factual tweet from a few weeks ago. This is the guy who libeled and slandered Gold Star families who lost their children in Kabul to protect Joe Biden. I gave him a comment. I'll post it here. My comment to USA Today was, Dear USA Today content creator, you slandered Gold Star families for being outraged as they witnessed firsthand Joe Biden check his watch during the dignified transfer of deceased children. You sons of bitches. How can you possibly do this? Have you personally apologized to each of them and their families? How can you call yourselves fact checkers when you do not check facts? How do you still have a job after using USA Today to libel Gold Star families? You do not have children, so we do not expect you to empathize with the pain of Gold Star parents, but as a fact checker, you could at least check your facts before lying about military families and disgracing your profession. Yeah. So, and then we went on to completely body this guy, and then he got fired. You know what? Sucks to suck. That's what you say. Sucks to suck. We have the power. We have the power. We can fight back. We can fight for you. You're part of the program. I think we can put up the results here. Goodness gracious, 11,000 votes. Okay, here we go. This is far more of a scientific poll than they do. They do 2,000. They call 2,000 people and they do polls and they publish them. So this is more of a scientific poll than anything. 11,000 votes here on our VP poll. We will post it. Vivek, winning by a country mile. Should Donald Trump choose as his VP? Vivek, 52% of the vote. Here, ladies and gentlemen. Byron Donalds, 21% of the vote. Tulsi Gabbard, 15% of the vote. And J.D. Vance, 12% of the vote. So this is not the final results of the vote, but this is from 1 hour of voting, 11,000 votes. This is what we got, baby. This is what we got. So we say, God bless you. It is up, as we promised, on X. Last time we posted something like this on X, Donald Trump posted it. So, hey, here we go. It is I want to just state on behalf of the team that this is a huge milestone day for us. We believe that we will cross the 2 million mark on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate every channel that watches here. We're live on X, we're live on Facebook, we're live on Rumble, we're live on Instagram. We deeply appreciate you no matter where you're watching, and we love you. And we just want to say thank you. We don't take this responsibility lightly. It is a responsibility. It's something that we work like animals for, because we have the same motivation you do. The motivation is to save this country. I got these 3 little kids. That's what I think about every single day when I do the show. That's it. I got a little flower here that my daughters gave me when I went to work today. Maybe we can load up the flower thing. My daughters give me a flower every single. I'll just say it. My daughters run up to my car as I'm on my way to the studio, and they give me. Don't worry about it, Alex. Don't worry about it. They give me a flower. Or yeah, okay, fine, load it up. Yeah, they give me a flower. They pluck it out of one of the planters on our porch. We live in the South. Got a front porch, and they run me a flower. And I have it right here. I have a whole pile of them because they pile up every single day. And this is what I look at during the show. This is what this like sits there in front of the show, and it is like a literal physical reminder to me what I'm doing, what we're doing here. We're not doing this for clout. We're certainly not doing this for the approval of strangers. Like, we consider you our family as well. And we just really thank you. 2 million subs on YouTube. That is a massive milestone. And we, again, it is humbling. But the reason why we do this is hopefully can be expressed. And it's probably the same reason why you watch. And it's why we call you fans. It's why we're a community here. It's why we're the Salty Army. We just want to create a better country for our kids. We want to not be a generation that curses like the next generation. We want to create a better America. We want to win as America first, not to lose as America first. And we want to save this place for our kids. Like, it's our obligation. It's a moral obligation. And so that's it. We really want to thank all of you young patriots who watch as well. It's wild to get videos. It's wild to get videos of people like in their college classes, like watching the show. It's crazy. We get them all the time. No matter who you are, where you're watching, or what platform you're watching, our team works day and night through the weekends, and we'll be live tonight. We'll go live when we cross the 2 million mark. We'll go live on YouTube, and we'll do a celebration. We got some special guests lined up, so we got some special guests lined up for tonight's live. And we'll just celebrate together. And I want to just tell you the motivation. The motivation isn't for clout, and it's not to say we have some number or to leverage this in some big corporate media job. We've been there, done that. We don't want that. This is so much better. And this is better because right here. This is why it's better. This is the motivation.
Every single day, my daughter runs from the front porch of our house to the window of my car as I'm heading to work and hands me a flower.
Put it in your ear.
Thank you, baby.
It's a baby flower.
And this is what she tells me is supposed to get me through the day. Little does she know that this sits on my desk in the studio all day long, and it is literally what gets me through the day. do everything in life to provide for my family and to support my family and to make sure that they have a future and to make sure that that future is good in a good country and a safe country and a country that hopefully I leave better than we found it. But this is what I look at every single day for motivation. So remember what you're fighting for. Flower time.
So that's it. That's what we're fighting for here. I think that's good enough. I think that's good enough for us. Your verse of the day, ladies and gentlemen. From Ephesians 5:8. For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of light. We're fighting for our kids. I know that you're fighting for your kids. And I know that you're fighting for a future for this place. And that's what we're all about here. We thank you for joining us in our journey. We will march forward and we will win as the Salty Army together. It's your boy Benny. See ya.